Welcome to LollieTasking with ADHD. I am your host, Dr. Lola, a multi-passionate mom of three, a physician, and an ADHD life coach because, like most of you amazing women listening, I have ADHD. Join me as we chat about how ADHD affects our lives and learn strategies to help us all thrive, not just survive, with ADHD so we can live the life we want while accomplishing all our goals. Let's get started. Hello, LollieTaskers. I am Dr. Lola. For those of you guys that don't know me, I am a physician and an ADHD trained life coach, and I help and teach overwhelmed moms, easily distracted women, women with ADHD who are ready to take action to reach their full potential. And I do this by helping them implement easy, strategic, non stress ways to maximize their time and focus while also decreasing their overwhelm, which, of course, we know leads to what we consider a truly fulfilled life for ambitious women. Okay. The main thing we talk about here is stress is not our ministry, and we need life to be simple, easy, fun, right? That's all we're about. Speaking of simple, easy fun, before we get started, usually I give a shout out to one person who have commented on our blog or Facebook or Instagram or mainly podcast, to be honest, is who I give the shout outs to. However, today I want to acknowledge someone special, and that is me. I am channeling my inner Snoop Dogg. Do you guys remember there was a time when Snoop Dogg got his Hollywood Walk of Fame? Walk Hollywood Star is what it's called. It's Hollywood Star, and he basically was like, you know what, I want to thank me. So I am going to channel my inner Snoop Dogg today, and I'm going to thank me. I want to give a shout out to me. I want to thank me for believing in me. I want to thank me for doing all these hard work that I have been doing here. I want to thank me for taking a whole 2 weeks off, guys. This is not easy for me, okay? I'm a workaholic. I am working on playing more. We need to learn to work hard and play harder because our brain needs it. When you work so hard and you have no research, you don't have that brain capacity to be able to be as creative as you really could. I just want to thank myself for not quitting. I want to thank myself for always trying to give more. I want to thank myself for trying to do the right thing all the time and being me all the time, loving all of me, including my ADHD, no matter how hard I try not to talk about it in the beginning and now just accepting it because in me accepting me, I have seen the impact that I have been able to make in women all over the world. I want to thank me for listening to myself to like go ahead and teach women out there that listen, you could be a badass woman and also be a badass mom and also be a badass professional CEO exec. You can get whatever it is you put your mind into if you just go after it. I want to thank myself for believing in myself in spite of the overwhelm and the brain sabotaging us. Excuse me. We keep it going. I finally want to thank myself for taking a break from lollytasking. As much as I have loved you guys, these last 2 weeks has been amazing. I literally was like, oh my gosh, I'm supposed to be releasing an episode every Monday. But I know me. I know if I have the episode out, I'm going to want to listen. I'm going to want to see what people think about it. So guess what? I just didn't record for the 2 weeks. And because I didn't record, I didn't have to think about it. That being said, I want to thank the lollytasking staff. While I was gone, they held it down. They made sure I did not go anywhere near our business. They made sure I did not do anything. I also want to thank my the people in our program for understanding that Dr. Lola needs to take some time off. And if she takes some time off, that she can come back better and stronger. I want to thank you guys. It's been amazing. Okay, so that being said, now that I'm done thanking myself. I want you to thank yourself. I want you to thank yourself for opening this podcast today. I want you to thank yourself for believing yourself. I want you to thank yourself that knowing that you are not your ADHD, you're more than your ADHD, you're an amazing person. You are fantastic. You're awesome. You're the best. Just tell yourself, Lola, I thank me. Whatever your name is, go ahead and thank yourself because guess what? Whatever situation that you have been through, you are an overcomer. Okay? Preach, preacher. Yes, I'm preaching, guys. All right, now that I'm done preaching and thanking myself, if you have loved this podcast and you would want to leave a review, I do encourage you to please leave a review and share with your friends because the more people we talk about it, the more we're going to hear about this podcast and the more people we're going to get at. We are over 10,000 downloads. Our goal is to get to 20,000 downloads before the end of the year. And I know we can do it. And your help in sharing the podcast will help me do it. This podcast, yes, is for professional women with ADHD, but I've also had people who don't have ADHD that I've gained from it, or they've been able to understand their sisters better or their spouse better. So, anybody you wish would want to listen to this, please go ahead and share it, okay? So, all right, so where have I been? I had the most amazing vacation in Tanzania. Shout out to Tanzania. Shout out to the Tanzania government. Shout out to African Queen Adventures, the amazing travel company that helped myself and my friend and partner, Dr. Fatu Foreigner. Okay, in case you guys don't know, in typical ADHD fashion, what? We have multiple businesses. So I have an Afro luxury travel company called The Promise of Africa, where we take people from the diaspora to like different African countries just to show the amazing part of Africa. But let me tell you, Tanzania owes me nothing. They showed up and showed out. It was fantastic. It was amazing. And it was just, I'm still quite emotional. Jambo people, jambo, jambo, jambo. It was I can't I'm speechless, y'all. It was one of the best vacations I've had. It was amazing. And I want to thank my business partner, Dr. Fata Farner. She is so amazing. I think I'm going to invite her here and we're going to talk about the importance of partnering with someone with ADHD, how she deals with me, and what I bring to to the table and what she brings to the table. We are both visionaries, but I think where my strength is, um, goes very well with where her strength is, and we complement each other very well. I am amazing with systems and automation and organization, and she is the queen of finesse and perfection. Okay, she's also a great orator. She's the one I push up front to do all the interviews while I stay behind. I am amazing being a director from behind. She's amazing being an actress from in front, and she does it so well. Okay. And you guys know I stumble upon my words even on my podcast. So even when they were interviewing guys, I was like, Tanzania famous, y'all. They interviewed us for their TV station about us being down there, and it was amazing. Like it was just great. I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. Um anyway, so that being said, this episode is dedicated to you and all the amazing women that trusted me to bring them to Africa. It's also dedicated to you people listening to this podcast. I encourage you to just love on yourself, take a break, travel, enjoy life. If you ever want to learn about African countries or Afro luxury, please go to thepromiseofafrica.com and you learn about future places that we go to. So, yes, I am a physician, I am an ADHD coach, and I also have a Afro luxury company. And how am I able to do all these things? Because I have systems in place. So, that brings me to the topic of the podcast today. The podcast today is the key to fixing your ADHD. One of the keys that I use that has helped me is creating system. Okay, like what made our business so amazing, and people are truly amazed that I have ADHD because I'm the queen of systems. I love systems. I love organization, and the reason why I'm so on it and I want certain things to be in certain ways is because systems truly save me. If I don't have things written at a particular time and done at a particular time, and people may say that slightly OCD tendencies, but the reason why I harp on it so much is that in creating system, it allows me the ability to make sure things don't fall through the crack, right? I create systems out of necessity. And I truly think after accepting your ADHD diagnosis, embracing your ADHD, being aware of your ADHD and its implications to different aspects of your life, the next step is really systemizing your life and your ADHD, okay? Let me be honest right now. I know the title said key to fixing your ADHD. There is no fix to your ADHD because it is the way your brain is wired. But once you understand your ADHD and once you accept your ADHD and stop fighting against your ADHD, because let's face it, you're not going to win that fight. We've tried it, it doesn't work. Just like with swimming, the more you try to fight the water, the more you sink. Same thing with ADHD. In creating systems to thrive, it helps you systemize your life so you know what you need to do when you need to do it. Okay? It also decreases overwhelm, it decreases chaos and stress, it reduces distraction, it decreases the brain power that we use because our brain is always on flick, it's on 1000% all the time. So if you don't have to think about the decision and it works similarly, it helps. Okay, and in doing all these things, especially when done appropriately, it in turn helps you increases your productivity. And as it increases your productivity, it helps you increase your focus, and it in turn reduces the negative effect of ADHD has on your life. Okay, so when we say create systems, like people just think, what the heck does that even mean, right? What exactly does system means? So according to Meadows, he defines system as an interconnected group of elements coherently organized for a goal. See, that's a fancy schmancy definition of systems. But in Lola English, long story short, a system is a series of simple, easy, doable things you need to do easily, again, underline easily, say it again, easily, to make your future goal a reality. So, um, in order for you to create a system, the first thing you need to do is have a goal in mind. Like, what is your vision? What is your goal? Where are you trying to get to? If you don't know where you're going, you can't connect the present to the future, right? Like you have your present, you have the future, and then the systems is what happens in between to help you get to that goal. So you have to have a common goal to get there. So that's the number one component of a system. The second thing that you need to do is you got to make sure whatever systems or whatever things you create to help you get to that common goal, it has to be easy and it has to be simple. Easy means no stress in doing. Simple means not complicated. It has to be doable. Again, not complicated. Let's sit on that. Say after me. It has to be not complicated. It has to be not complicated. Say one more time. It has to be not complicated. The ADHD kryptonite in us likes to make things complicated. Like, we do not like people making things complicated for us, but for whatever reason, our default is to make things complicated for ourselves and for other people. Okay? So please, 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 please keep it simple, sis. Complicated systems will usually collapse because we in the beginning we have the bells and whistles or whatever, and they were like, this is too much, and we just give up. Okay, so just make it simple. Simple doesn't necessarily mean boring, right? You can make things fun and simple, but you got to make it doable, because our goal is to accomplish it at the end of the day. Okay, and then a system also has to be adjustable, and you have to be able to track it. It doesn't have to be perfect the first time. And I actually recommend, don't think about perfection. Think about progress. Progress over perfection is where we need to get to. Because if you want it to be perfect, that can actually increase your likelihood of procrastinating. So you just want to get it done, just start it, and knowing that as I started, I will continue to improve it over time. When you have that in your mind, it helps you to be able to take the first step. And then as you're taking the first step, you kind of start course adjusting whatever it is you need to change about it. Okay. And then, so again, number one, has to have a common goal, has to be simple and easy, has to be doable, has to be adjustable and easily tracked or changed over time. And the last thing is, then it can be on autopilot at some point, right? So the way I think about it is that once you have learned that system and you've done it over and over again, people call it habit, but once you've done it over and over again, you don't necessarily need to think about it anymore, right? It just kind of works. So one example is, when you first move to a new place, use your GPS all the time, right? But once you've done it over and over again, you don't need your GPS anymore. You don't even have to think about it. There are times I've left my work and I get home and I'm like, I do not even remember how I got home, but I'm here, right? Because I'm not thinking about it. I'm not worrying about it. Okay. So this is very important. According to James Clear, if you guys listen to Atomic Habits, if you have not, I recommend you to go listen to it right now. I say listen because I have the book. It looks beautiful on my shelf, but I am yet to actually open a physical copy. I listen to books because it helps me with my ADHD. Those are the kind of systems I put in place to help me, making sure I'm keeping track and I'm learning and I'm continuing to expand my mind. So I digress. According to James Clear, he said that researchers, I think it was on weight loss, they noticed that when people stated clear, concise process, which included how you're going to do it, where you're going to do it, and when you're going to do it, they were likely to accomplish their goals 2 to 3 times more than people who did not. And this is called in psychology implementation intention, because you state when, where, and how you intend to implement a particular behavior. It then bridges the gap between your goal, again, where you want to be, and the systems to actually achieve the goal, right? So it's very, very important to have that in place. And I also say, take it a step further. Don't just say it, actually write it down. Don't just write it down, actually review it every day. Because in you reviewing it every day, you again subconsciously have it in mind so you don't lose it or you don't miss it or you don't say, oh, I'm just not going to do it today. And then it becomes automated, okay? We know all the time. People with ADHD, we are visionaries. We think big, but what prevents us from reaching our goal? It's not that we don't have goals or we're not visionary, it's us. We are the bottleneck of our life and businesses and goals because we have the visions, but when it comes to actually doing the process to get us to that vision, we complicate it. We make it too hard. We don't have the specific strategy and processes in place. We just kind of want to fly at the seams of our pants. And while that's all good and dandy and is amazing for our ADHD, there's been multiple research that show that small consistency is what actually helps you thrive. Okay? So it's very important you put those systems in place. So when you have the right ADHD proven systems and goals and you take action towards it, oh my goodness, the sky is the limit for you. This is why I have created my program, Create System to Thrive. It's a whole day where we just create strong foundation of our ADHD systems that will help us keep us from going from being overwhelmed, helps us get organized, helps us achieve our goal. And a create system with Drive, it's basically like a day of implementation, right? So you're gonna get an email about a week before. So in our case, it's gonna be tomorrow, where I help you with like your value system and your goals. And once you've created that goals and your value system, on that day of, we create what you need to be able to achieve those things. You write it out. You have what I call your brain operating manual, where you now have, okay, when this happens, these are the things I'm going to put in place. When that happens, these are the things I'm going to put in place. These are my goal for this thing with my ADHD. Here are some things I'm going to work on to help me achieve that, right? And I'm going to throw in a bonus, which is a 6 months of weekly and monthly planning accountability. So every week you come in, you log in, you sign in, you plan for your week, you review your goals, you review your brain operating system, you review all the things that you need to review to get you where you need to get to for that week. Same thing for the month. You review your month, you review your brain operating system, you review all the things that you've put in place that you have said will help you get to your goal. So, I love systems. And I know that thriving with your ADHD is just not systems, right? You have to have the system. The systems, however, is the scaffold, is the foundation to be able to get you at least the beginning step, right? Most people will still want coaching, would still need coaching to continue to thrive. But at least if you have that foundational system, it's an amazing stepping stone to help you thrive with your ADHD. Okay, so we're at the top of our 20 minutes, so let's go ahead and wrap this up. So, in Lolly summary, I had a fantastic time off. I recommend you do to take some time off before the school year starts again. And that's another reason why I do the systems around now. This is a new school year. What are things you're putting in place to make sure balls are not dropped this school year? Okay, systems have truly saved my life. It has. And as again, I have this amazing opportunity on August 13th, which is almost a week from now. If you listen to this in the future, I would do it again in February. I do it twice a year. But why wait 6 months when you could start thriving with your ADHD now, right? And again, if you listen in the future, you can always join our group, Accomplish with Ease, where you still have access to some of the systems. But the implementation where we do it together, I do it twice a year. Okay. Again, it's a day of implementation and action and accountability where we'll learn systems. You learn the automation I use. I teach you how I'm successful in being a business owner, in being a mom, in being a physician, how I'm able to thrive in spite of, me having ADHD and me having overwhelm. So it is very, very important. Okay. So I give you my blueprints, I give you my tips, I give you plans. We talk about it for like 5, 10 minutes, and I give you like 40 minutes to work on it. Because at the end of the day, your systems are yours. It's based on what you need for yourself to make it happen. Okay. I'm also gonna give you again the bonus 6 months of planning sessions that we do that I actually give to our LollieTasking group. Okay. So does it sound like something you'd be interested in? If so, go ahead and click on the link in my show notes. It's all, which is AWE, the lollytasking.com/CSD underscore ADHD. That's AWE dot lollytasking, LOLLIETASKING .com /CST underscore ADHD. Another question people have asked me is that, do I have to have ADHD to be part of the program, the implementation program? No, you do not. In the group coaching program, I require you to either have a diagnosis of ADHD or think you have ADHD or have challenges surrounding like executive dysfunction, because the coaching group is centered around that. However, with this implementation workshop, while it is geared to women who have ADHD any woman who is ready to have a sustainable system is welcome to join us. So feel free to share with your friends. I would love to have you guys. It's going to be an amazing day. I just cannot wait to just talk to you guys and meet you guys and have such an amazing time creating our scaffold and foundation for our ADHD. Okay? So, on today's episode, we discuss everything as we talked about earlier, but I do want you to always talk about, okay, at the end of the episode, I always ask you what is the one thing you would do. The one thing I want you to do, you pick what you want to do, but the one thing I want you to do is I recommend you signing up for CST. If you missed it again, like I said, you could join the wait list and you will catch up on the next go around. Go ahead and write down whatever it is you want to do, create a plan to do it, and you got this, okay? So, as always, I'm going to end with this fantastic quote. It says, "You do not rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems that you have created." This is by James Clear, the author of Atomic Habits. So let's go ahead and create the systems together. That way we can truly, truly achieve our goal. So thanks again for hanging out with me today. I hope you had an amazing and intentional week ahead. If you need help creating your blueprint and planning, like I said, join us on August 13th, which is next Saturday coming up, for our virtual replenish workshop. So you could be anywhere in the world and join us. Again, don't be a stranger. If you have any questions or want to talk about any topics more extensively, you could join our Facebook group, which is basically run by people who have ADHD or people in the LollieTasking community. I don't typically go on there as much, but it is somewhere you could talk to like minded people. Don't forget to follow us on IG at LollieTasker, and you could also email us at hello@lollytasking.com. Also, final, don't forget to leave a review. You may just get a shout out on our future episodes. So, till next time, remember, you can do it too. With some planning, a little bit of balance, and a dash of determination. This is Lolly Tasking with ADHD. Thanks for hanging out with us on another episode of LollieTasking with ADHD. If you like what you've heard today, I would love for you to click the subscribe button, rate, and leave a great review, in addition to share with your friends. Your review allows visibility and also allows other amazing women to find this podcast. Also, if you have any questions or topics you would like for us to discuss, please contact me via direct message on Instagram at LollieTasker or email us at hello@lollytasking.com. Till next time, this is LollieTasking with ADHD.